Good morning. Today we will study our chapter number 2, human system. In this chapter we have already completed the two systems, human digestive system and the respiratory system. Now the third, human circulatory system. Before going to this human circulatory system, we should know about the blood. So what is a blood? Blood is a fluid connective tissue. Yes, since the blood is liquid in nature, so it is fluid. Connective, since it connects all the various organs of our body, so connective. And tissue, because it is a group of cells, it contains different types of cells such as red blood cells, white blood cells, etc. in them, so it is known as a fluid connective tissues. A tissue is the group of cells which performs a definite functions. So here the blood performs the definite function, so it's also known as fluid connective tissue. Now blood has a pH of 7.4. Since it has pH of 7.4, so it is slightly basic in nature. The composition of blood, the blood contains the 55% of a liquid part known as plasma, and the
4%
water,
WBC,
remaining
41%
are the cells,
RBC,
such as RBC, WBC, platelets, etc. So that is our composition of blood. Now the blood contains three types of cells known as red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. These red blood cells also known as erythrocytes. The WBC is also known as leukocytes, and the platelets is also known as thrombocytes. We will study one by one about these cells. Now the first one is red blood cells. The red blood cells, also known as erythrocytes, it is non-nucleated. Since the cells present in red blood cells does not have nucleus, so they are known as non-nucleated, spherical in shape, non-nucleated, spherical, disc-like cells which contains hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a respiratory pigment. Due to the presence of hemoglobin, these red blood cells are reddish in color. Now this hemoglobin. The hemoglobin is a respiratory pigment. It used to take or transfers the respiratory gases such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc. So it is very useful to us. Now the white blood cells. It is nucleated. Irregular in shape. Irregular shape, colorless cells. since they does not have a pigment such as hemoglobin, so they are colorless and so named as white blood cells because it does not contain any pigment in it. The WBC again can be classified into agranulocyte and granulocytes. Based on the presence of the granules in the cells, this WBC can be classified into two categories, agranulocytes and granulocytes. Those cells or those WBC which contains the granules in them are known as granulocytes, whereas those cells which does not contain granules are known as agranulocytes. Example, eosinophil, basophil and neutrophil. So examples of the agranulocyte, eosinophil, basophil and neutrophils. Now the granulocyte contains the lymphocytes and monocytes. The lymphocyte again have the B lymphocyte, T lymphocyte and natural killer cells. These are the types of the lymphocytes, and the monocytes are the macrophages. So that are the WBC. The lifespan of RBC is 120 days. What is the lifespan? Nearly it is up to 3 to 4 months. So the lifespan of RBC is 120 days, whereas the lifespan of platelets only 10 days. The lifespan of platelets is only of 10 days. Blood clotting. By blood clotting, it prevents the over lossage of the blood during any injury or any accident. It clots the blood, and so no more blood can be come out from the injuries, and the lossage of blood will be prevented. That is due to the platelets, known as blood clotting process. Next, the functions of RBC. RBC have different functions. RBC is responsible for the respiration of the food, means oxidation of food, and it also WBC. The main function of the WBC is to, since it contains the antibodies in lymphocyte, so it fight against disease-causing germs and protect us and provide us immunity against the disease-causing germs, bacteria, viruses, etc. So it is very important for us. And platelets, as already we know that it is helpful in blood clotting. Now the functions of blood. The functions of blood. The blood performs various functions in our body. First of all, the blood used to exchange the respiratory gases in our body. So the blood takes the oxygen to the various parts of the body, and in order to that, in replacement of oxygen, they takes carbon dioxide from the various organs, and it can be removed out through the respiration or during the breathing process. Next, the second point, it helps in transportation of the nutrients needed by our body, as in the digestion the important nutrients are absorbed, and these important nutrients are get dissolved in the blood. As the blood flows to the various parts of the body, it transports these nutrients to the various parts, and so that they can get the energy by oxidation of the food. Next, the third one, it controls the body pH. Our body pH is mainly maintained by our blood. It also, the fourth point, it also maintains our body temperature. For the regulation of the body temperature, the blood is very necessary. Next, the fifth one, as our blood contains the WBC, lymphocytes, etc., and so it provides our body immunity, and so it acts as our defender, and so protects us from various diseases and viruses, etc. So it is our, it provides our immunity system. Next, the sixth point, it helps in transportation of the hormones and other necessity such as the medicines and the various other products or substances which are necessary or needed by our body are being transported through this blood. I hope you are able to understand. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay home. Stay safe.